Hi piano friends, today we're going to discuss naming notes on the staff, specifically notes in the bass clef. Now one thing that is unique about the piano is that we don't just read one clef at a time. Many instruments only read bass clef or only read treble clef or alto clef, tenor clef, etc. But in piano land we get to read both at the same time. So when you see a treble clef and a bass clef joined together by a line and a brace, then you know that everything that's happening inside the treble and the bass clef is happening at the same time. We'll talk more about that later, but for right now, I'm mentioning that because I want us to talk about the placement of these notes. When we read bass clef and then we read treble clef, we have to remember that middle C lives here in between. This space between this bottom treble line and this top bass line is actually inflated just so that we can see things more clearly and our eyes and brains can process what we're seeing. But really the distance between this line and this line is the same as the distance between, for example, this line and this line. It's the distance of a fifth, which we'll see here in a bit. But really quickly, I want to talk about the bass clef notes. So we have notes that are on the lines and the spaces, and then middle C lives here. I like to call the bass clef the food clef because the sentences I use to help students remember the note names both deal with food. Burritos for the lines and grass for the spaces. The bass clef lines are great burritos don't fall apart. Great burritos don't fall apart. And then the sentence for the bass clef spaces is all cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. So that is step one in naming our notes. The next step is figuring out where they belong. As you can see, this middle C is here, which means that all these notes here in the bass clef happen below. So this G is not the G just below middle C. That's this G. This G is two G's below middle C. So when you're looking at your piano, here's middle C. That first G for great is down here. Great burritos don't fall apart. And then there's middle C. This A is not the A below middle C. That's that A. This A is two A's below middle C. All cows eat grass. So that's a little bit about bass clef note reading. Hope that helps.